Yeah, I think the big thing about like a Chopsy wave as opposed to like a cloudy or a pipe. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's you have to take crazy late drops at all three of those places, but I think Chopes it's just always really underneath the ledge late drop. You never really get like a nice top down sort of entry on, like sometimes at pipe if you're on a big board, you can almost like get momentum on the top of the wave down and like take off that way, and then you almost take off with a bit of a ledge under you. Whereas chopes, you can't really do that because the water's drawing so hard from in front of you. So it's always like this takeoff where you feel like the whole lip is right at your back, and you're kind of doing this like really awkward but fine line, like takeoff, pig dog takeoff, where you got to just get the rail kind of right at the right angle where you're not pulling it too hard that your fins are going to disengage and you're going to slide, but you're not going too straight. You're going to nosedive or not be able to get your edge in once you get to the bottom. So I think that's the real. I mean, obviously, yeah, you can get real technical and deep out there too. But for me, I think the toughest bit about Chopes is for sure the takeoff. Once it kind of hits 8 foot plus, it just gets so steep and um, everything's got to be so millimeter perfect, like with where you paddle in and with how hard you paddle and with how under it you've got to be. And then even still, like you can do all that perfect, and you'll still get to a point where you're like, wow, I'm so upside down. It feels like it's just beyond possible. But I think because the wave's so perfect, you can like afford to almost like be that far beneath the lip and almost disconnect a bit and catch again, and your board will hold because it's just such a slick, perfect wave. There's no step or weird deformity in the wave that you got to worry about. You've got like the perfect canvas to just go extremely late. And I mean, and yeah, like the local crew are proving that more and more. Like, I mean, some of the stuff that Emio was doing in the most recent swell, I wasn't there, but just seeing it online. I mean, he's like taking off on waves that if no one was on it, you'd be like, that's not possible to paddle that. But then when you see him paddle onto it, you're like, wow, it kind of looks like he's done it easy, but he's just got that obviously that technical drop down pat, and then just these positioning with like how deep he is and also how far in and out he is, um, just so down to a T that he's able to, and not just him, a bunch of the guys there, but they're able to like take off on these waves that are, probably 10, 15 years ago were just tow waves, which is pretty crazy.